Ever since I was able to vote, I really didn't follow the whole election through and through. I just kind of went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to vote for a Democratic Party because those are the ones whose ideas and morals and everything was just really close and very similar to what I believed in. So I just automatically voted for the Democratic candidate that was running. And during the Bush election, I did not choose him. And now I'm following it a lot closer, only because of the fact that in the beginning, to see that it was between a woman, Ms. Clinton, and a black man, Obama, and I was just so amazed, and I thought to myself, wow, this is history in the making. Regardless of whether it's Hillary or whether it's Obama, it will be the first woman or the first black president. So I really kind of perked up and followed the whole election a little bit closer. And I wasn't sure exactly who I wanted to go for at first, although it would have been nice to have had a woman president, you know. But when I really stopped to think about it, I had to think about the fact that, and I know this may sound bad or whatever, but I didn't want to have a decision on the table and for her to base that decision, God forbid, if it's her time of the month or if she's going through a hot flash. You know, I want that decision to be based on her being clear-minded, you know, and if she's got all this stress going on at home with the bill and everything, you know, it might just like cloud her mind. Now that's with everyone, but women tend to be a little bit more emotional than men. So that was one of the kind of things I was like iffy about. Another is the fact that we do have meetings or gatherings when it comes to the United Nations. And if we really stop to think about it, the rest of the world really does not hold women in such a high regard as, you know, here in the United States. So I'm thinking, you know, when she goes out there and she opens her mouth, they are not going to listen to a single word that she has to say because she's a woman. And what does she know, you know? So with those two things and a couple of other things, I really was like, the world is not ready for a woman president. And when I listen to Obama's speeches, what he stands for, what issues he believed that he's going to be changing if he were to be put in the White House, I was like, yeah, definitely I'm feeling this, and he's working on that, and that's, you know, an issue that I find important to myself. So I said, all right. So I definitely was for Obama after a lot of debating back and forth between Hillary and Obama. And a lot of people really just thought that automatically the best person for VP would have been Hillary. But he ended up picking Biden, I hope I'm saying it right. And it was kind of like a little bit of a surprise. But I noticed that whole little plot that McCain was going for. Like, he seriously must have been thinking, Obama's going to pick Hillary, so I'm going to beat him to the punch. I'm going to make this very fair and even. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some lady. How about her? She looks good. And we'll just pick her and have her run for VP so that way we can be kind of even, because Obama's going to pick Hillary and I've got this woman, so it's straight. Maybe he knew Obama wasn't going to pick Hillary. And maybe he was thinking, well, then these women out here, they were just going to vote for Hillary because she's a woman and, you know, they got vaginas like each other. So if I pick this woman over here, then I'm going to guarantee myself the votes that would have went to Hillary over to me because they want to vote for a woman. I think that's an insult to all women. as if we don't have enough intellect to go ahead and say, I'm not voting for Hillary because she's a woman. I'm voting for Hillary because the issues and the topics that she brings up and she promises that she will change are the ones that are important to me. No, we're just voting for Hillary because she's a woman just like us. We didn't think of anything else. We don't care about anything else. The fact that she has a vagina is good enough. No, I don't think so. So I really thought that that was like a low blow, a really, really dumb move on his part. And now to see this whole issue that's come up with her daughter being pregnant, and they're just kind of like blowing it off like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, she's 16, 17 or whatever it is, and she's pregnant. Oh, you know, it just kind of happens. But that's okay because she, you know, she's not just pregnant, she has a fiance. So it's cool. Bullshit. That boy was not thinking about marrying that girl at all. I'm pretty sure that he had to have been convinced, tricked, threatened, something, in order for him to go ahead and be like, all right, so I guess I gotta marry her because I got her pregnant. Because I'm pretty sure he was trying to get out of it. He was just gonna get a little child support and just go about his business. But they just making it seem as though it's cool. And a lot of, you know, with all the situations and everything that's been going on, McCain's main thing is Obama's not experienced. He don't know what he's doing. But then he picks this lady, Pauline, whatever, however you pronounce her name, and she has absolutely no experience. She's the governor of like Alaska. Like, how many people really live in Alaska? No experience compared to Obama's some experience. You know what I'm saying? Because we really have to stop and think, if something were to happen, let's say McCain became president, and something were to happen to him and he should pass away, she would automatically become president. And here people complaining about him having no experience, and here you have this lady from Alaska and she's going to be the president. You know what I'm saying? And I heard her speech, and at no point did she ever talk about any policies, any changes, no nothing, no issues, nothing. She was basically just standing there defending her family, defending the fact that her daughter was pregnant. And she even, as a matter of fact, she did make like the real asinine comment to be like, well, the women who were voting for Hillary can now vote for me. Like, even she just had that asinine thought, like McCain, birds of a feather flock together, that because women were voting for Hillary, there are men too, but they would automatically go ahead and vote for her because she's a woman. Now, when it comes to the whole thing with her daughter being pregnant, teen pregnancy is on the rise. It is an issue. And for them to just sweep it under the rug like it's cool, that's not the business. Because honestly, if it were to have been one of Obama's daughters, Lord knows he would have been dragged through the mud. I mean, if they were putting all that talk on him about what his preacher said, can you imagine if it were one of his daughters who was 16 or 17 that was pregnant? They would have been like, oh, well, you know, how can he possibly run a nation when he can't even run his own household? So the same thing can be said for her. How can she possibly run a nation when she can't even run what's going up in her house? So I just find it so weird how it's okay for her daughter to be pregnant and everybody just smile about it and be like, and sweep it under the rug like it's cool. But if it were him, so I don't think so. I think that it's also a very major issue. I think that it should be dragged. She should be dragged through the mud just like they would have done him, just like they did him when it came to what his pastor had said. I think that's definitely very fair. I don't care if Alaska has, you know, consensual age of 16, which I think is a load of bull. No, the guy was not like 18. He was way older than 18. You know what I'm saying? So I just think all of this is just a major amount of BS. And I think definitely that folks should look at this as a huge thing and not just be like, okay, well, let's just sweep it under the rug because the girl says that that's her fiance. And I know I'm not the only one who noticed that she had like no ring